That was the media reporting on the recent town hall protests. They're saying they're not paid protesters there. However, remember back in 2009 when the media slammed Tea Party protests, calling them ugly, unruly, hostile, and AstroTurf. Joining me now, former Trump transition team senior advisor Katrina Pierson. Katrina, are you surprised at the difference in the reporting here?
Well, no, I'm not really surprised, but I can tell you that as one of the original founders of the Tea Party movement, myself and many others like me who weren't engaged in politics did organically start to show up at their congressmen's town halls to protest them not doing what they said they were going to do, and it was organic. And at that time, like you just mentioned, we were called AstroTurf. No one really wanted to report what we were talking about. The Speaker of the House at the time, Nancy Pelosi, actually said there were swastikas in some of these rallies. It was insane. And now, all of a sudden, people just want to get out there, even though we know for a fact that left-wing groups have put out entire documents on how to copy the Tea Party movement, how to get your people in place, and how to actually AstroTurf these types of scenarios.
You know, Katrina, we were showing split-screen shots of what was going on back in 2009, where members of the Tea Party were physically removed by law enforcement out of these meetings. You know, the question, though, Katrina, is these groups can be effective. I mean, Republicans were hearing in Washington that the Republicans are fearful of the fallout from Obamacare repeal and replace at the midterm elections. And you remember when the Tea Party, even though they failed to stop Obamacare, the GOP did sweep to the midterms in 2010 and ensuing years, right?
Oh, absolutely. And it was because the people didn't want Obamacare. And now we have it. And here's the stark difference that really no one else is talking about. These protests in 2009 were against Republican congressmen that were being dealt with by their constituents. In many of these cases, the Republicans that are receiving the fallout are by people who didn't vote for them, number one, and in some cases, like in Utah, these were people who were not only not from the district, but not even from the state. That is the problem. Congressmen and women are going to look at their voters and listen to what they have to say.
Yeah, that's true. But, you know, I'll say it again. I mean, the Republicans, you can't ignore them you ignore them at your peril. Just as when the Democrats ignore them, you know, they have to be aware of what we know that who it is. It's the Bernie Sanders. It's that kind of hard left crowd. You know, but they're turning out. So I'm just saying it's something to be aware of.
But they're turning out for a policy that is failing. They are arguing to keep a policy that won't even be here on its own merits, and so it's nonsensical and illogical to protest for that.